Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video we are going to take a close look at the Retrobit Sega Saturn 8-button arcade pad for Sega Saturn. So I'm curious if this thing will basically be my second controller. I own an original one, so I was going to do a side-by-side comparison. And you know, like when it comes to aftermarket controllers, back in the day these things were all like having problems, were flawed in many ways. But nowadays Retrobit and many other companies made, let's say, pretty good controllers. So I'm curious how good or bad this thing is. Alright, so let's take a close look with the controller, because there was nothing much to say about it, like cardboard box and no manual. Oh, yeah, and a lot of plastic. But I'm curious, how good will this thing be? And I mean, like, how good? Simply because when you're looking at this freaking controller, like the fight pad, I must say that I do like it. Like the form factor is very comfortable, but how good will it stand up against the original one? Like this one I have owning in my collection, and I already noticed some differences. But let's talk about the D-pad itself. So the D-pad, it feels, let's say, less sturdy with the fake one. It's still got the same touch to it, so in my opinion that's a very nice thing. We're going to get the rubbery select, then what you're going to see with the original one, it will get like some minor differences, of course the color. But when you're looking at the buttons, there we're going to get a very nice same touch, something you don't see very often. Like when you're looking at these controllers in the beginning, like especially with the fake one from AliExpress, you're always going to get some, let's say, different touch. And in the end, when you're playing it and you're very used to the original one, you don't going to get the same experience. The only thing that I noticed, this one does have the micro switches and this has just the normal click. So that is basically the biggest difference. I personally prefer the micro switches, but take consideration these things will wear out. But seems to be doing just fine on my controller. So the cable quality itself, it's a very thick, like this, yeah, I would say like cheap, because I have seen my share some less cheap controllers, because these are thick, very thick and very long. But the most important thing, it feels very flexible. That's the thing. I have some controllers in my collection. They don't. They have like this very annoying rubber, Chinese rubber around it, and the main problem with that is it will like crack open very fast. The cables are extremely like ridiculous long, so that is very good. But let's plug it in my Sega Saturn and let's see how this thing will fit and how it will play, etc., etc. Alright, so let's try the first game. I'm not trying to get my ass kicked. I'm all having a big fan of the Sega control, especially the D-pad. Going to get my ass kicked here. Okay, so let's try the second round with the different controller. Okay guys, so next round let's try this fake Retrobit controller. And the first thing I'm noticing, like the D-pad is even better responsive than the one I'm having. And that is maybe the possibility, because the original control I'm having has some wear and tear to it. Maybe I need to clean it up some extra. But in the end, like I find this D-pad super responsive, like even sensitive, a little bit too sensitive sometimes. Because I didn't even wiggle the D-pad doing my super and it came out instantly. So when I'm looking at this controller, it's absolutely crazy. So Retrobit basically, in my opinion, just nailed it when it comes to this controller. Yeah, absolutely. This is a very nice controller. And also if you want to play some fighting games, this is not going to be an issue whatsoever. Very good. Okay, so next up, let's try a shmup, just for fun, just to see how this D-pad responds to this, because this is so important that you have a good D-pad, and also, like I already mentioned, like the D-pad is super sensitive, so for games like this, it's even better. So because of these bullet hell freaking games, you need to always be very careful what to do when it comes to movement, because otherwise you will die. This game is slightly like less difficult than an other game that I've played before, like you have some of these shmups, if you're going to get one hit you die, or you just need to ram yourself into the freaking wall. Of course, Wicked, yep. But in overall, yep, I really dig this controller. Yes, I like it a lot. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest, like, I did review some of these controllers a very long time ago. That was the first generation of these Sega Saturn controllers, but I am flabbergasted just to see how well this thing works. I'm a big fan of the fight pad. If you didn't like this fight pad one, yeah, maybe you can always check yourself, like getting an, let's say, retrobit version. I think they made one of these, but in the end, like, I do like this version. Yeah, I play a lot of fighting games, but beside that point, yeah, the D-pad for shmups is always like a lot of fun to play with. Yeah, did you own one of these controllers? Or what is your experience? Let me know in the comments. I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become one of the Wicked family, and I will see you in the next video.